Welcome to Wine Library TV. I'm your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program. And there's a bunch of people on Twitter, on the Washington Merlot Tasting Network. They're tasting a bunch of Washington State Merlots. They've been doing some Twitter tastings. Ray Prado, please call 520. And I feel like I wanted to be a part of that. I use the Twitter, and I've been known to send a couple tweets here and there, Mott. And I feel like we should taste some Washington State Merlot with all the other great wine people on that community. So excited about that. I just got back from Austin, South by Southwest. It was a lot of fun. So Rick from St. Supri, big shout out to him. And had a good time. Gave a talk. Went well. And now I'm here tasting some Merlot. I've also noticed that they both have, two of the big ones have Cabernet Franc in them. Let's start with the Velvet Devil, 2008 Washington State Merlot. This wine rolls in $11 US. Brought to us by Charles Smith, who's one of our favorite all-time guests. If you have not seen this episode, Mott, link that up. Charles Smith. Not the Charles Smith that missed all the baskets against the Bulls. One of the most devastating moments of my life. But Charles Smith, the wild and crazy. Remember, he took his shoe off? Great episode. If you haven't seen it, you must check it out. 11 Bones, great price point for a Merlot. Obviously, we know all the pizzazz behind, Sideways, and people didn't drink Merlot. But, Merlot, even going back further, was really known as a blending grape. It had a great 15, 20-year run. Then Bamo, the movie. Now it's kind of sunk itself into a nice spot. People respect it. Some people don't, but it's consumed at a very high level. It's a very popular grape varietal, and at times can be very, very interesting. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. This one has a very candy-like flavor on the nose. The initial tack is kind of like a cherry bomb. I get a little oak, which bothers me a hair. A little worried about the vanilla oak action that I'm getting on this. Let's give it a whirl. Solid, chalky, dark chocolate flavors on the mid-palate, surrounded by a good amount of oak. Solid red fruit, not too inspiring, not too interesting. A little awkward on the finish as well, a little disjointed for me. Get a little rusty nail juice. If you ever had some rusty nail juice, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That RNJ is really delicious, Mott. It can get really kind of... So it's got kind of this rusty nail meets red fruit, kind of like eating a fruit salad in a kind of like a auto body shop. It's okay. I'm not feeling it. I'm gonna score it 84 points. I would say it's a pass even at $11. It doesn't do much for me, and that's just kind of where it's at. A bit of a tough start. Let's see what's going on next. What's going on with you, Mott?
How much?
How was your weekend?
Oh, just dandy with the giant rainstorm.
You had a big rainstorm here? We had a big one, right?
Gigantic.
Gigunda. So you were kind of like plopped at home, just nothing to do?
Bailing.
Bergevin Lane 2005 Merlot, $21 US, 86% Merlot, 14 Cabernet Franc. Let's see what's going on here. 21 Bones, Washington State. Cabernet Franc always makes it a little more exciting for me. But as long as it's 85%, they can call it Merlot, which is what they're doing. Let's give it a little snippy snip. Wow, a lot of oak. Man, the oak monster is kind of... Let me give it a sniff. There's a heavy dosage of wood on this wine coming across the nose. I do get some really nice raspberry fruit coming through as well, so that's not the worst thing. Let's give it a whirl. A little more complexity on the mid-palate than the last wine. Good structure, good fruit coming through. Really nice kind of like minerality on the back end of the palate. Almost more Bordeaux-like. And as you can see, I don't know if you're seeing it, I'm starting to get a little life back in my body here. Because I do love this kind of crushed rock vegetal thing on the back end of this wine. Still a lot of pizzazz and fruit up front. Not as oaky as I thought. I think I might have assumed early on that the oak monster would be here. And you know what happens when you assume. Well made, not outrageous. Still going to only go 89 points on this wine, but definitely a little bit better on the palate than I expected from the nose. I got a lot of oak on the nose. I got real scared, real frightened, but it kind of came through a little bit. So not too bad. I'm a big fan in general of Bergevin Lane. Good little Walla Walla producer. This fruit comes from Columbia Valley. And so does the last one. The next wine also comes from Columbia Valley. So all three of these are coming from Columbia Valley, which is, a very classic spot. Really the place where I first kind of recognized Washington State as bringing the thunder. And then obviously people started getting really hot on Walla Walla. But the next wine is pretty iconic stuff. This is the Pedestal 2005 Merlot, 94 points, J. Miller. Michelle Roland is the consultant on this wine, $46 US. And I'm excited about seeing what this has. This is from the Long Shadow program, 80% Merlot, 13 Cabernet Sauvignon, 7 Cabernet Franc. So let's see what this wine has. Some good color. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. Have you filled out your bracket, Mott? Yeah.
No, I don't.
You don't do the bracket. You don't care about the NCAA, huh? Huge mistake. You should get into it. It's a lot of fun. A little cranberry on the nose right off the bat, which I like quite a bit. So a little cranberry attack. Very subtle nose, really nice. Yeah, a little kind of like hot chocolate powder thing going on. So there's a little bit of that, chocolate aroma. Let's give it a whirl. Very focused fruit, very dark. I get a lot of plums on the initial attack, and a little prune juice action on the mid palate, which actually I like quite a bit. Comes together nicely. Sour cherries on the back end as well. Good complexity. Not bad. Little chalkiness. Good full-bodied structure. Has a little more weight than the last two wines. I'm going to score 90 points. I think it's good. I think 94 is a little high. 46 bones might be pushing the envelope. Doesn't completely annihilate me in a good way, but it is well made and structured and has some good complexities throughout. All in all, the wines were solid. I don't know. I mean, maybe sleeping only 12 to 15 hours over the last 4 days has hurt my palate a little bit. A little tired from South by. But none of the wines really jumped at me and grabbed a hold of me. I really didn't like the Velvet Devil all that much. Or at least, let me rephrase that, because 84 points is solid wine. But it just, I had a little bit more hope for that. And the Pedestal is good. I do like it. Let me go 91 points on it. It's got a long finish. It's starting to grow on me a little bit more. And I think, all three wines really could have benefited from even a little bit more breathing, even though they've had a good amount. Not bad. Washington State Merlots. I think they're pretty good domestic Merlots in general, and Columbia Valley produces some really interesting wines. So, it's definitely a place that I think people should check out. And I definitely think that a lot of you that are doing this on Twitter are probably going to have some better results, some worse results. I hope people are authentic and really give their true opinions and don't just, poo-poo it and just say they're better than they are. People need to hear back real feedback because that helps. Question of the day. What is your Cinderella pick for this year's NCAA tournament? You, with a little bit of me, we are changing the wine.